Dell Books counter rack and early Dell Mapbacks and other books and items inspired by the Dell Mapbacks. Hi, I'm Gary Lovisi. We're going to take a look at something really special now. Something interesting I think you'll like. As you can see, this is a Dell original 12 pocket display for a counter in a store. Dell Books began in 1943, and this rack is probably from around that time, during the war, World War II, or maybe a little bit after the war. There's only 12 pockets, and you can only fit 2 or 3 books in these pockets here. I'm assuming that probably this is a pretty early rack, and they didn't have a lot of books out at that time when they first came out, so they only maybe had the first 12. Dell started the Mapback series, but what a lot of people don't know is the Mapback started with book number 5, not with number 1. So number 1, 2, and 3, and 4 were not Mapbacks. Number 5 was the first Mapback. And there were about 577 or so Dell Mapbacks for every kind of book that Dell published, every genre, science fiction, fantasy, a lot of mysteries and crime. There's Tarzan Mapback. There's H.G. Wells stories about the moon and all kinds of things that all kinds of topics. These are the first 12 Mapbacks here. There's the spines of them, and then I'm going to show you the covers, and we'll go through them. But just a little bit about the Mapbacks. Not every book in the Dell series was a Mapback. So there's you'll see that some of them, for some reason, didn't have maps on the back, but there were 577 or so that were up to into the 600 series. Ruth Bellew, B-E-L-E-W, was the artist on many of the Mapbacks. She did about 150 of them, they think, and probably even more. So without further ado, I wish I could date this rack. I would say it's probably during the war, World War II, or sometime after, and it was made again to be on a counter in a store. And with that, we're going to look at the first book in this series, Dell book number 1. I'm going to lay them out here in 3 at a time. We'll look at them. That's Dell book number 1. And you can see on the back cover, no map. And Dell book number 2, Dead or Alive. Number 1 is Death in the Library by Philip Ketchum. I need my glasses just to read these. Number 2 is Dead or Alive by Patricia Wentworth. It's hard to read upside down. And there's no map on that one either, of course. Number 3 is Murder on Hudson by Jennifer Jones. Dell Publishing presents the Dell Mystery. A lot of these covers were done by Gerald Gregg. They're airbrushed. They're really beautiful, or they were done in the style, same kind of style. Of course, number 3 has no map also. Number 4 is an interesting book because number 5, of course, I said is the first Dell Mapback. Number 4, you have a variant because the first printing of Dell number 4, okay, has no number. Just note that. Has a number on the spine, no Mapback. Later on, Dell number 4 was reprinted. Same cover art. They put the number 4 down here. And it has a map. So that's Dell number 4, The American Gun Mystery by Ellery Queen. So you have the first printing and then the variant later reprinting. Now I'm going to get to the Dell Mapbacks. Before I do, a lot of the first printings on these have lamination, so they didn't do the reprints listing second printing, third printing, or whatever inside. So it's kind of hard to tell from first printings to later printings. But usually the first printings have lamination on them. So the first Dell Mapback is Four Frightened Women by George Harmon Cox. And that's the cover. And the back cover map. Cliffwood. And the maps always showed, of course, an area where the crime took place. There's a murder mystery, where the murder was, the house, the rooms, the grounds. But even on a science fiction, they would show the planet or different environments. So that's Dell number 5. Dell number 6, Ill Met by Moonlight by Leslie Ford. Very moody cover, and the back cover map. And the Dell book logo. That's number 6. Number 7 is See You at the Morgue by Lawrence G. Blockman. Great cover. Very sinister looking green hand with red nails. The back cover map. And this shows just the building, a Manhattan skyscraper or whatever, where the murder takes place, or where the crime takes place. Number 8 is The Tuesday Club Murders by Agatha Christie. And it's the guy stabbed on the dinner plate on a table. The back cover map again shows the area. Often they would mention where the map is depicting. These are very popular, these books. People collect them today. They collected them in the old days when they came out, and they collect them today. They're very much sought after. Some of them, certain authors, of books in really nice condition are a little bit pricey. It was really a great design, and people love them. Double for Death is number 8 by Rex Stout, very collectible author. And here's the back cover map. Number 10 is The Lone Wolf by Louis Joseph Vance. Dell Mystery. Dell Publishing presents. None of these had prices on them. In those days, in 1943, paperbacks were 25 cents, but they didn't have the prices on the books, but they did have the price on the book rack. And this is Paris. Number 11 is Hearst's Don't Hurry by Stephen Ransom. Grim Reaper cover with the scythe and the Grim Reaper there. Murder mystery. There's the back cover map for Hearst's Don't Hurry. And book number 12 is Wife versus Secretary by Faith Baldwin. And it's a romance. And very interesting because it does not have a map. So not all of them have maps. I've seen a book number 38 also doesn't have a map. It's a book of patriotic material that was for World War II. So without further ado, I'm gonna look through these books, and we're gonna shelve them in the proper place where they should go. So Dell number 1, Dell number 7, Dell number 4, the original and the reprint, Dell number 12 with no back map, Wife versus Secretary, Dell number 10. It would help me if these were in order, but of course they're not, because I didn't put them down in order, which I should have, but that's okay. Dell number 8, Dell number 5. It's just so cool to have them sitting there like that. Dell number 2, Dell number 11, Dell number 9, Dell number 6, and Dell number 3. And there you have it, a recreation of what it must have been like in 1943 or 44 or 45, or just after the war, walking into a candy store or a drugstore, or maybe some store that had a counter, and they'd had this rack on the counter, and they would display these books. You can only fit 2 or 3 in here. That's about it. So this has got to be early, from when Dell didn't have a lot of books published. They just kind of started out. So kind of recreated this. I hope you enjoy it, and it's a kind of cool thing. Thing is, the Dell books are really popular. They've inspired a lot of people, and just to kind of build on a little bit about Dell books. There's a few things that you might want to know. William Lyles was the person who really brought forth a lot of the information on Dell books. His book, William H. Lyles, Putting Dell on the Map, from Greenwood Press in 1983, is really a great piece of work. And his copy to me that he signed to me. This is a great piece of research. I use it all the time. Another excellent book is The Dell Mapbacks by Piet Schroeders. Schroeders is a book collector and scholar, and this is actually, it's kind of weird. It's from 1988. He sent this to me. It's a date book, but it's for 1998. And it's all information about Dell books, and it starts in January 1998, day by day, and each day there's information about different Dell books, different mapbacks. It's a really cool book. This came out in 1988 from 010 Publishers. I believe it was in one of the countries of Europe. It's a great book, full of valuable information. A lot of artists are inspired by Dell books and the Dell mapbacks. My own wife, who does art for Gryphon books, she's done book covers, and we've done some different things in the Dell style. She did some boxes that were collectible boxes with the Dell cover and the Dell map of the book. And the cool thing about these boxes is you open up, and look at that, there's the book right in there. So it's just take it out. There's the original Dell book in the cover and the map. So that's a cool kind of thing. The other thing is I had a guest at my show, my book shows over the years, Julius Fast, who was the brother of Howard Fast, who's a very famous author. Julius is also very famous in his own right, and he was the first Edgar Award winner for his novel. At that time, they didn't even have the Edgar Award. They just gave you a letter and said you won the award. And he had an unpublished book, and it was A Trunk Full of Trouble. And this is the book that I published as a Gryphon book. And we published it as in the style of the Dell Mapbacks. You can see the logo, the map on the back cover, the insides. It's the same kind of text style, and what this mystery is about, the people in the mystery. These are all things that Dell had, and there's a picture of Julius Fast with his Edgar Award that they gave him many years later. I think he was the first Edgar winner in 1946, and in the 1990s he was given the award. And Lucille VC did this cover for me. Very generously did the work. It's very nice. And she did a map back of it. This is the town, small town where the murder takes place. So you can see that there's a lot of these beautiful Dell mapback books have a great popularity and a great influence on readers and collectors and fans over many decades, and even on artists, because artists also like to recreate these books. They like to recreate the maps and the style and the design of these cool books. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I think it's something special. Imagine walking into a dime store or something in 1946 maybe, and seeing this on the rack, the books there and everything. I think it'd be pretty cool, and hope you enjoy it. And we're going to do more videos, so please subscribe and give us a like, thumbs up, and see you soon. Thanks.